So this is a one-room schoolhouse that we're showing in 1929. Grades 1 through 8 were all taught in here at the same time by one teacher. So the students were anywhere from 6 to 14 years old, thereabouts. Usually sitting two to a desk. Do any of you want to sit down and try out on the desk? And then if you reach in underneath there, you should find a chalkboard for doing your lessons on. So almost all the lessons would be done on there, which mainly the lessons were focused on reading, writing, and arithmetic. The most important things for all the students to know. So just take a look around. Is there anything else in here you're curious about?
I'd like to know the history of the school.
Just the general history?
Yeah.
So the building was built in 1910 and modified over the years. This is not the original stove, for example. It was changed over time. So it's a one-room schoolhouse, like many other schoolhouses were of the era, especially in rural areas. And one-room schoolhouses could be very chaotic because there were so many students and so many grades being taught all at once. And so two-room schoolhouses were being built to phase out this type of schoolhouse. Have you been to the other schoolhouse?
No.
So that's a two-room. It's considered quite modern for the time, replacing schools like this one.
How many students were there during?
30-ish. Could be a little more, a little less, depending on the school year.
And how many teachers were there?
One teacher. So they would focus, they would spend a few minutes on one lesson, then send the students to working on their boards, move on to the next lesson for another grade. So they might teach a grade 4 spelling lesson, and then move on to a math lesson. And the students were expected to sit and work quietly so that the teacher could focus on the other grades.
And what other subjects were they?
So a lot of the ones that are similar to today, we've got books. I've got books up here. I've got arithmetic books, math books. We've got citizenship, which is now social studies. I've got physiology and hygiene. We've got spelling books. And then other subjects. Agriculture was taught in schools, especially rural schools. Kids needed to know how to run agriculture. There's a mandolin on top of the book cover back there. So Nick Book, who taught at this school, was a mandolin player and especially interested in music. So he taught more music than a lot of other teachers did. So teachers had a bit of freedom in order to change what they taught depending on their own personal interests.
And what was the timing like, for the school during those days?
The school year?
I mean, like on a daily basis.
On a daily basis? So more or less the same as now. They would open 8:30 or 9 and go till 3 or 3:30. 200 days in the school year, about the same as now. Sometimes it would change if there was times of really bad weather when they had to close the school, or if a lot of students were missing for farm work, then they'd make up the time elsewhere.
And how much were the school fees?
School fees, so far as I know, don't quote me on this one, but so far as I know, it was through taxes. Education was compulsory from grades 1 to 8. There were school boards for each school district that organized the schools, but I don't think there were school fees for each student. That was handled by taxes.
And how many teachers were there, from the school was from 8 or either 9 and it goes to 3:30. And how many teachers were there?
One teacher.
Just
one teacher.
One teacher for the school for every grade, yeah.
And it's continuous teaching, or what were the recess time?
They had recess. I don't remember exactly how long it was. It would probably have been about the same times that recess and lunch are now, for about the same length of times. So they'd go out, they'd have recess. Even recess could be a fairly structured, formal time. We've got a lot of school games that were played. Kids would be doing calisthenics outside. And then during times when they couldn't go outside, they often just stayed in here. We're not totally sure what kind of indoor school games they might have played, but they would have been doing something inside during recess. Any questions over here?
I think that's pretty much.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And those were those pictures were. Could you actually tell us who were these people?
Yes, naturally, this is King George V, and this is Queen Mary. Again, it's 1927 right now. So part of the reason that these are here and the Union flag are there is that schools like this were used as a tool of assimilation. A lot of settler students, especially Ukrainians, were being taught how to be good Canadians, which meant being good British subjects. So Ukrainian was not allowed spoken in classrooms during class times. Some teachers would teach Ukrainian after hours, but really it was how to be a British subject.
So all the curriculum, they were actually set up by the British. So you followed the British.
Yeah, so it was a government curriculum. Some of the books in the cupboard back there sort of further explain the priorities of the curriculum. So there's novels in there like Alice in Wonderland, Oliver Twist. There's fairy tales, very British, meant to really get kids going down, the British path.